Ship, favorites playlist, track 1.
They whole team get ran through. Ain't one thing I can't do. Snakes and grass, no bamboo. Move on quick, I plan to. On the fence, don't stand you. Cloud my eyes, no land you. Don't take L's, they hand you. Planet go, no time for plans. So they whole team get ran through. Ain't one thing I can't do. Snakes and grass, no bamboo. Move on quick, I plan to.
Now that was some fantastic chow mein. And before you say that sounded racist, you can ask the waiter how they say it.
Having to explain yourself this much to prove you're not a racist. Also having a family dinner at Panda Express.
Pointing 2 things out on the screen in a row.
The kids seem disappointed that Rick won't play along with teasing Jerry, but how would Rick having robot arms extend from his body not be something interesting for the kids of TikTok to enjoy? Film that and get those views. Views are all that matters, baby!
Aren't you the same guy who has sinned the characters in this show for being surprised and interested in Rick's tech on the basis that they've seen too much crazy shit to care anymore? With that in mind, you're contradicting yourself here.
You know, fortune cookies only come true if you eat the cookie first.
Eating your fortune cookie while you still have this much of your entree left on the plate.
Pointing things out on the screen.
You will have sex with your mother.
In bed. Wait, no, I was just gonna add the infamous in-bed gag to someone's fortune. I didn't realize this would be a sex with your mom episode. I was set up by the Rick and Morty writers and you know it.
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought there would be more to that sin, because so far he hasn't said anything critical, satirical, or funny. It's just been a boring rant. So he's not gonna say anything else? That's disappointing.
Also, sure, right, it's not an ideal thing to get in a fortune cookie, and certainly shocking, but Jerry is speaking at the same volume as when he talked about getting the shits from the zoo earlier, and no one in the restaurant reacted to that.
Why do CinemaSins fans still insist on defending them when they say very deceiving things like this specifically to trick their fans? When Jerry mentioned getting diarrhea at the zoo, he lowered his voice, and there wasn't anybody all that close to him, but when he reads the fortune, it's at full volume with people physically closer to him, but Discount Jeremy figured deceiving people would get him an extra sin.
Over 4 episodes into the 6th season, and we still haven't gotten the Sherlock Holmes episode this scene promises.
Look, do I think a Sherlock Holmes episode would be funny? Yes, of course. But do I think literally any episode of Rick and Morty will be funny? Also yes, which is why I don't have an issue with there not being a Sherlock Holmes episode. Also, Discount Jeremy double dips cliche.
Jerry, are you seriously asking if I think you're gonna have sex with your mom?
He is. Man, I really hate that this cliffhanger of a question is actually intriguing me. This is the Who Shot JR of Rick and Morty incest cliffhangers, and unfortunately making cliffhangers plural was not an accident on my part.
He admitted that it was intriguing him, so Discount Jeremy sent something he likes cliche.
Sleepy Gary wasn't real.
Neither are fortune cookies.
I mean, the fortunes in the cookies might not be real, but fortune cookies are indeed real. You can hold them, you can eat them, you can stick your...
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sexual joke that isn't funny cliche. Also, that entire sin only existed for the joke because I'm pretty sure Discount Jeremy understood that Beth was only referring to the fortunes there, and seeing as the joke was not funny, that sin wasn't worth it.
Well, yeah, then you should definitely hit that.
Morty raises his arm for a high five before his punchline is delivered, and Summer proactively preps for the high five without knowing if the joke would even be good enough.
Maybe because she already knew where he was going with the joke, seeing as it's a pretty obvious one.
And now we know that Jerry's familiar with tucking, so he either has no pubic hair or is able to shave very quickly. All things I did not need to know about Jerry.
Which is a sin because the show is not meant to be taken seriously at all, which is why something like this is not actually sinful. Now, I am sure that the TVSins fanboys who refuse to admit that TVSins has ever made a mistake will tell me that this sin was a joke, but I'm gonna respond to that by saying it wasn't funny, so it's still sinful either way.
Also, walking into your parents' room at any time without knocking. Even if she's trying to catch her dad doing something embarrassing, this is still a horrible risk.
Nobody said it wasn't a horrible risk, but the higher the risk, the higher the potential reward. So you're just sitting somewhere for having balls. Jealous much?
Rick walks this way with a towel over his shoulder, then this way with 3 rolled towels a second later. And here he comes by with another set of folded towels. You know he's not doing house chores. Now all I care about is what 7 moisture-absorbing pieces of fabric could possibly be needed for.
Everything wrong with Rick and Morty, ladies and gentlemen. Discount Jeremy is such a little child that he gets distracted by background details.
Okay, I'm just as likely to shit a balloon as I am to become a dolphin.
Things overheard at the D&D table while reviewing the chaos table calculations somehow make their way into the script.
Unfunny joke is unfunny.
Why is this person holding a tray of food as if they're going on a lunch break when the store's closed and currently under attack?
He could just be cleaning it up. Why did you mention a lunch break? Oh, because that was the only way you could think of to justify this sin? That's dumb.
I'm gonna take the truck in exchange for not turning you in.
I'm gonna sit in the convenience of the fortune cookie truck that just happens to be in the back.
How is it convenient for a fortune cookie truck to be at a Panda Express? That's actually a very realistic coincidence.
And now we're being retina scanned?
Maybe somebody knows the answer to this, but I don't. So I'm sitting why Jerry would need to have his eyes closed for the retina scan, but Rick would not.
The answer is very obvious. Clearly, Rick has some kind of something inside him that prevents retina scans from having an effect. Now, for those of you who are going to try to bitch and moan to me about how it's not explained, I'm going to remind you that it doesn't need to be explained if it's obvious, which this is. If you would actually use your brain, you might understand these things.
Can't crack a smile? Oh, yeah, you're worried about doing it with your mom. Okay, fair enough.
That fake-ass laugh.
It sure is nice for the company to showcase torture in the adjacent conference room. You know, to be sure that our infiltrating duo can see the positive and negative impacts of the cookies without having to walk more than a few feet.
So, are you arguing that the positive and negative cookie production processes should be in completely different parts of the building instead of being consolidated? Why? That would actually be bad building setup.
Use the emergency fortunes. You'll have great success in a fight.
The cookie designed for an emergency is fight-related? What if the emergency had been a fire? If the security guard fought the fire with water, would that have fulfilled the wish? And if the wishes can be fulfilled by a more vague approach, couldn't Jerry's wish be completed with a game of poker that ends with Jerry tossing the table and exclaiming, "You me, Mom"?
These emergency cookies are obviously meant to be for specifically infiltration purposes, not something like a fire which could be handled with other fortunes elsewhere. This should be clear to you, seeing as these guys are security guards.
Why is the creepy alien handler touching the wish list with bare skin and also using this grabber thing as if it's important to not touch the paper with his fingers? I'm just trying to make sense of something simple that I can understand while the episode derails into portals and alien poop, which I do not understand.
I love how he says all of this while showing the paper being placed in the cookie. Obviously, the guy can touch the paper just fine, but can't touch the cookie itself. This isn't rocket science, my man. Just watch the fucking show.
Fortune cookies are alien poop.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would buy this on a shirt, and I'm sure that is a sin.
Discount Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
Does the alien want that? It's not exactly what I'd call a sentient species.
A man knows.
So let me get this straight. This guy wants to f*** an alien the proper way, so he creates a your mom cookie in hopes that someone will come and investigate a highly secure evil corporation and accidentally their way to the secret area to discover the exploitation of an alien creature, which would trigger an empathetic response and encourage them to free the alien and the dirty man, allowing them to f*** in harmony forever?
Yes.
Friends picked me up in a limousine.
Being so impressed with the luxury of the car that picks you up from the airport that you're able to ignore the multiple semi-automatic weapons pointed at your back.
Discount Jeremy tries to apply logic to a cartoon ex machina.
Come on and f*** already.
At this point, I'm pretty sure Rick and Morty's simply trying to title my sex tape, but I'm not that easy. Actually, yes, I am.
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sex tape joke that isn't funny cliche.
I just used a dark web account to hack Goldman Sachs, remove trillions of dollars, and purchase everything your company offers. Congratulations, you're officially the most successful businesswoman on Earth.
See, this is why I strongly suggest defining what success means to you before you start on a project. In this case, Rick's sudden definition of success fulfills the cookie's prophecy rather than her version of success. Totally avoidable.
So you're sinning a character for being flawed? You know, this is one of the most annoying and stupid things he does on a regular basis. Characters are not supposed to be perfect. Otherwise, we would literally not have a show in the first place.
I see that I've romanticized a wild animal, the same way Margaret Howe did when she jerked off that dolphin in the 1960s.
I mean, there's no way that actually happened. Oh, for the love of why are there pictures?
Discount Jeremy is sinning the show for a clever joke that's actually based in reality. Can you see why that's dumb?
So this guy's guts get sucked out of his body, but Rick's guts aren't sucked out of his ass. And I guess I just don't understand how much of Rick is robot or human and how that impacts his immortality.
Admits that Rick has robot parts to prevent his death here, sins it anyway.
It's a super good thing that Rick packed the nano laser printer in his arm cannon this morning and thought ahead to build the cookie ammunition chambers in the first place. What a champ. We should all strive to be more like Rick.
Hold on, he's saying the episode made a mistake by having its super genius characters do something smart? You can't make this shit up.
You will die in a plane crash and be reincarnated as a prophylactic.